And I think Trump, despite what he says, has a lot of respect for Mamdani. The term is game recognizes game.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of nonsense. I think, again, her brand, and we've seen this with a lot of celebrities, when they have a certain look, you know, it's hard to kind of transfer that into other acting roles.
Frankly, there hasn't been a good Star Wars during the entire period it's been owned by Disney.
Ben Shapiro's out and about and saying, look, you know, a man of many opinions, but even Tucker Carlson's saying this, and a lot of other sort of, you know, figures of the right are saying, well, how can you blame the kids for voting for someone like Mamdani when, you know, they don't feel like they have a stake in capitalism, they're saddled in debt that the government encouraged them to, you know, sign up for a worthless college degree. They can't get a job, they can't get a house, they can't get a wife, they can't get a car, and it's like, well, you know, why not? Why not give it a whirl? Why not go for the bearded guy who's promising free stuff?
Well, I mean, those are all real issues, but we have to think about solutions, and this is why I think it's very dangerous for Republicans to just abandon those kitchen table issues to Democrats and just to ignore them
and say, abandon the kids and say, well, the kids,
right.
the kids are left.
The kids are not all right. The kids are graduating from college and they can't find any work. The home that their parents bought for, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000 is now worth $800,000. Yeah. There's no chance that they can possibly live in the neighborhood they grew up in. And I think part of it is also we need to have a more honest conversation with kids too and be like, maybe you should leave New York if it's too expensive to live in. Move to a more affordable city. The story of America is if it's too expensive, go west. And we went west and we had pioneers and we settled California. And you know, you don't have to live in New York City. Go live in Nashville, go live in Austin. There are more affordable cities where you can make your mark and start your own path. And we just got to be honest with the kids and give them some hope.
Adrienne, on that exact point, is the White House slightly, we've used asleep at the wheel as an expression already on this show about something else, but it does seem to me that there's people within the wider movement are slightly ringing the alarm bells of saying, actually, the White House needs to get back to bread and butter kitchen table issues, back to the economy, back to the cost of living, and enough with the jet setting. Let's actually, you know, in the run-up to the midterms, be focusing on what matters to normal American voters.
Yeah, I believe that. I also have an interesting take. As a millennial, I've been hearing this narrative since we graduated college.
Well,
we couldn't find a job.
We graduated into the worst economy.
We couldn't find a job. We were in our parents' basement. We had student loans, and we were making it out. I think there's a distinction here. You know, Ben Shapiro's video, he says, you know, if you can't afford it, then you should move. That was taken out of context. I believe people using that as a blanket statement, meaning like, well, you don't deserve to live anywhere. And it's like, what we really need to look at and analyze is not only like, do you deserve to live in the 1% location if you're not making the 1% salary? Because I certainly couldn't now live in the area that I grew up in because I couldn't afford that at the time, right? So I had to move farther out. And so we also need to look at, I believe, consumerism, social media, and a lot of people feel like they should have these $1 million houses based on what we're seeing online. And a lot of home builders are building these places with the best finishes, and that's driving prices up as well. So I feel like this is a multi-layered issue.
Jon, just before we move on, has the message been received by the White House, do you think? Are they in listening mode?
Oh, yeah.
Are they get it, right?
I think they saw the results of the elections, and I think Trump, despite what he says, has a lot of respect for Mamdani. The term is game recognizes game.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't agree with anything he's doing, but there's a reason he won, and I do believe you're going to start hearing a lot more about affordability in the next year.
Very, very good. Adrienne, Sydney Sweeney, a topic of conversation greatly covered by this important show. Obviously, she was out and about. We talked about it last week. She was out and about with GQ. She has become, once again, a massive sensation on the internet for refusing to go down the progressive reporter's line of questioning and sort of, you know, self-flagellate and apologise for, you know, for making a joke about starring in an advert that made a joke about her having good genes. Now, back to the day job for Sydney this week. Her latest movie has bombed. Conspiracy, or was it just a crap film?
I think there's a little bit of both here going on. I think everybody's ready to blame the left in Hollywood, which, listen, nobody loves doing that more than me, as you know. But I also feel like there was a little bit of a low marketing budget, but I want to say something that might be unpopular, but her role in this movie may not be attracting the crowd because she's not necessarily playing
a
Euphoria, a Sydney Sweeney, you know, what people are usually going to see her as. Not playing
a female boxer.
Exactly.
For people that haven't seen, this is the film Christy, where it seems the trailers and clips I've seen from it so far just seem to be involves Sydney Sweeney getting beaten up and beating people up for the entire movie, which might not be the best
Yes.
movie.
I mean, I had a lot of friends actually tell me they didn't realize those photos that the marketing online was her. They didn't know who the actor was.
So you think that the haters are jumping on, screaming, "Oh look, she's ruined her career. She's now box office poison because she's shown a tiny bit of ankle, should we say, to the right, to the MAGA movement, refusing to sort of disavow that. She's now poisoned across America." You think that's nonsense?
I think it's a little bit of nonsense. I think, again, her brand, and we've seen this with a lot of celebrities, when they have a certain look, it's hard to kind of transfer that into other acting roles. It's not the popular opinion to say out loud, but that's just my take.
John, Oscar Isaac and another lovey's been out on return. He's saying he's refusing to return to Star Wars until Disney figure it out and not succumb to fascism. He was talking about Jimmy Kimmel's week-long suspension he managed before he was sort of reinstated. Are we back into the world where we have to listen to these people? I thought after Kamala Harris's billion-dollar disaster and signed up all these people to tell everyone how evil Donald Trump was, these people would just go away and have a long cold bath. But they're back, right? Fascism.
I don't know
on the table.
I know our country flirted with fascism for a whole week. It was a scary week. We went fascist for a week, but now we're all back to normal. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that we'll ever be rid of them. It's just a question of whether we will listen to it and we will allow it to impact our lives and our behaviors. And frankly, there hasn't been a good Star Wars during the entire period it's been owned by Disney.
Rogue One was, Rogue One was pretty good. Rogue One was basically a Vietnam film set in space. It was amazing.
I don't even remember which one that was.
Anyway, back here. We've got 2 minutes.
But
Come on.
no, I mean, we're always going to have these people. It's really on us to whether we give them quarter, we give them license.
But yeah, when we kind of so that was amazing. What Jimmy Kimmel's wife was out today, and he's saying that when they had to break it to the poor starving Kimmel children, that Daddy had been suspended from TV, and the Harry Cole Saves the West made up prize of the year or something that did not happen was little Kimmy Jr. Turned up and said, "Daddy, did the president do this?" I mean, just go away.
I sent a message to the Babylon Bee guys, and I was like, I hate that you didn't think of this.
Adrienne, I mean, are we in a post-Hollywood age where, in fact, these lobbyists can pontificate, but frankly, from everyone from Sydney Sweeney down has just said, you know what, jog on.
It's totally crazy. Look, Jimmy Kimmel, I think his wife also said that she reached out to family and friends to kind of to basically say, hey, don't vote for this guy. And she said 90% of them either didn't answer her or said she was crazy. So that should tell you right there, she felt the temperature in the room. So again, I think, Oscar Isaac, I think he would be very happy with like the Gina Carano cancellation era, but we're over that.
It feels, we just discussed at length, it feels like that sort of blip of the beginning of this decade, certainly, and the end of the last decade will go down in history as one of the sort of strangest moments. Their power is waning, as Sydney Sweeney proves.
Right.
Absolutely.
But also, we don't have to have Oscar Isaac in a Star Wars movie. Like it's not like there's a law that if he's not in the movie, there can't.
But
be
we
Star
need more
Wars.
Sydney Sweeney films where she's not getting.
Oh yeah, well of course.
By other women.
Yeah.
Jon Levine from Washington Free Beacon. Thank you for joining us. It's been a lively, interesting night. Covered a lot of ground. Adrienne Gray, always welcome. See you both again soon. That was Harry Cole Saves the West. Don't forget to subscribe.